start. We have head coach Kelly Inouye Perez, student athletes Rachel Garcia, Bubba Nichols. Start off with an opening statement from Coach about the game.
First and foremost, I have a lot of respect for Coach Kendra and the University of Arizona softball. A lot of great traditional just battles between them, and you got to see that tonight. But I'm most proud about my Bruins and how they have set their minds to being able to be in this position and get back to the World Series. I credit the seniors for being able to, literally, this is their 4th year back at the World Series. They've set the standard high, and they're excited to be able to finish. But the way that they did it this year was by taking care of their teammates and bringing the younger Bruins with them. And as a result, you see a strong, cohesive, tight team that plays for each other. The hero can be different any night. We obviously have some great pitching and we have defense, but the biggest part of this is we're going back to OKC because the culture is strong and this team plays for each other. So I'm just very proud of this Bruin team, but we're not done yet.
Questions for anybody?
11 stranded runners, 8 hits. Talking about trying to convert those runs against some of the top teams in the nation.
What we want, we're going to the World Series, so I'm not talking about LOBs right now. But if you want to know an answer, that's the sport. The sport is timely hitting. In a perfect world, we have an opportunity to score every run, but the sport doesn't work like that. So we have opportunities where we've had run rules, where we've literally finished it 5. We've had games that we've come from behind. We've had games that we've won by 1. And the best thing is right now is whatever it takes to win. So that's the sport. We understand it. And I think the best part about it is the team knows that. That's something that they take great pride in. But I think watching the game, it can look very easy to be able to just make adjustments. And trust me, we can beat ourselves up too. But I told them to live in the moment. No memory. So whatever happens, happens. And no imagination, no worrying about anything moving forward, just live in the moment. I think they did an outstanding job doing that.
So, Coach, what's the difference between this team and some of the other teams that you've had, some of the other great teams?
I'm honestly, I feel that the culture of UCLA and where we've been, I really credit the senior class. They've done some great things, but and Bruins before them, Ali Carta and Steph LaRosa have done a great job of building this back and getting us back to where we are. And then they've passed it on to the Kylies and to the Maddie Jays. But we've been, UCLA softball's in a good place. We've had opportunities. We've been back to the World Series, and we learn every time. But no longer is it a hope to be able to get there. There's an expectation. And separate from just getting to the World Series, we want to finish it. So this team is really focused. We're very talented. There's a lot of depth on this team. We've been able to manage having different ways to win. As I stated before, I think there's 11 different Bruins, possibly 12, that have hit the game winner. That's a lot. That means everybody has participated. There's been 13 different runners that have scored the game-winning run. It's spread out throughout this team, and I think that's a strength of who we are. Rachel definitely is in the circle, and she is, the star, especially this weekend and last weekend. But there was a time where Rachel was down in the middle of the season, and Selena Tamilo and Holly Azevedo and Johanna Grauer stepped up, and the team hit behind all of them. And that says great things about our ability not to rely on any one person. So I feel this is UCLA softball. When we're rolling and we're playing well, we're hitting 1 through 9. We have solid pitching. You saw some great defensive plays this weekend from our defense, and that is traditionally what UCLA softball is all about. And this team is doing exactly that.
Rachel, what was it like for you tonight to watch Bubba drive in the tying run and then Aaliyah get the winning run?
Oh, amazing. Knowing that we can pass the bat around like that throughout the game is just very cool to watch.
What was anything going on with you specifically in the first inning, or just need to settle down? What was going on there?
No, Melissa Palmiro capitalized on this pitch and props to her, but I knew my team had my back the rest of the game. We knew we had to focus on one batter at a time.
Yeah, no, I'll even add to that. We had a little bit of a game plan, and I'll take that on the pitch. I called an off speed, and she had been owning her on the hard stuff. And came in today, and I talked to her about that we would use some off speed, so I called that. I will say, Katie can get off batter wasn't something that was the plan, but the best thing about Rachel is she owns it. If it's, that's probably why this team plays so well behind her, is there's never an excuse. She doesn't fear anything. She's very coachable. She'll do whatever it takes to win. But in that situation, when you're that successful, she should have stuck with the hard stuff. Palomino is a great hitter, and she connected with the pitch.
Stuck with the hard stuff the rest of the way.
And I stuck with the hard stuff the rest of the way. You saw clearly.
Coach, how do you balance celebrating tonight's big win with refocusing for the College World Series?
I told them to celebrate. They should. You know, they should. They earned it. They've worked very hard, especially rebounding from last weekend. We found ourselves out of, just kind of out of who we are, out of personality. And the way that they fought back, I was so proud of them. They got back to being who they are, and they did it again this weekend. So, best part about this super regional being Thursday and Friday is we're not going Saturday, huge. And we actually have a couple days before we can even have to travel, so they get to recover. So I told them, you know, they deserve to be able to just let it down and celebrate a little bit. They're always respectful, but they've earned that. And then we definitely will refocus. We'll figure out when we're going to get back out to OKC. I want to have a good practice out there. You know, we still have a lot of Bruins that have been out there, but we have a lot of Bruins that haven't been out there. So I want to take this team and get out there and get acclimated as quickly as possible. But for tonight, we celebrate. Absolutely.
But what kind of tone does the senior class set for this team?
I mean, they are really energetic and they have big expectations for all of us. And it's not in a bad way, it's like good expectations. But I feel like they fire us up a lot. And even if they know that we're down, they pump us up. And even if they're not having their A game, they still make it about the team rather than themselves.
Coach?
Yeah.
Coach, we contrast to the big ball and the long ball. Today we kind of saw the small ball and the leaders were getting through, but integral to that was the base running.
Yeah.
And we saw some excellent speed on the base paths. Talk about how this game, in the mix of everything you've done all year, makes it an added to your resume.
You know, I actually made a decision earlier in this season that we were actually going to short game less, and that I wanted them to swing their sticks, and they did that. We put up big numbers, we hit for average, we scored a lot of runs. Wasn't your typical UCLA softball. And then there were times where, by nature, you know, the best thing about the Pac-12 is the pitching is great in the Pac-12, and it's very competitive. We have different looks every weekend, and there's times where you've got to make sure you move runners as well. So I think it was more I would say the last third of Pac that I kind of talked to them about. You know, we may, if we need to, we've got to practice that. And this team, they were great, got it. So we started a short game and we did some things to be in a position like tonight. But the Pac-12 prepared us for that. We had some games where we had to move runners like that. This isn't the first time that we did it. You know, credit the pitcher for Arizona. She was different today. She was completely different today. You know, I think we had a game plan game one and we executed it. Today she came out and she was different. Credit to her. But then the Bruins figured out a way to adjust once again. And we didn't get to launch long balls because she kept the ball down. She did a lot of off speed, so we had to work the ball and move runners one at a time. And I'm proud of them that they were able to do that. So that's the biggest part about why I'm so proud of this team is they adjust. There isn't just one way to win. It's different every time. That's our sport. But they understand that and they accept the challenge and they never give up. And that's something I'm really excited about getting into the tournament with this type of event.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, Bubba, you one of the top hitters on one of the top offensive teams in the nation. How does it feel to have all this firepower? You know, you look around and you got Washington hitting ninth, hitting over 300. How does that feel?
I mean, I just feed off of the rest of my teammates. You know, all of us in the lineup have really good hitting averages, and we're all powerful hitters. But I feel like I like to focus on what they're doing, and then I try to feed off of make the middle of the lineup stronger so that we can relate to the back of the lineup. That's kind of my goal. I kind of just focus on what I can do in the situation rather than, focus on, I didn't come up with a big home run or grand slam or something. But yeah, I'm very situational.
For Rachel? Rachel, once you got into your groove, you knew your defense was behind you. How did that make you feel in terms of approaching and being more aggressive towards batters? Because you had you mixed your strikes, a lot of ground balls, and a nice mixture of flyouts. Talk about how you kept them off their game.
I mean, right before every at bat, I turn around and look at every person on the field and at least make some eye contact with someone on the team, and just knowing that okay, they have my back, I have their back, and if ball gets in play, they're gonna go all out. I mean, even Kinsley dive and catch just an attempt in the middle infield, and just everyone even above in the outfield, just being able to watch them put in work behind my back as well.
And your strongest pitch tonight, what would you give us that?
It's the curve.
Any other questions?
Good to go?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for covering too. We really appreciate it. Yeah,
Good
definitely.
luck, Coach.
Yep, for sure. Thank you. We'll take some of that. I'm joking, boy. Take care of you.
That's all.
Good job.
Congratulations.